Microchips are everywhere. They're in your phone, your computer, your car, even your microwave. These tiny slivers of silicon power the modern world, crunching numbers at unimaginable speeds, storing endless amounts of data, and enabling devices to connect, think, and adapt. But have you ever stopped to ask, where do they come from? How does something so powerful, so advanced, begin its life as something as humble as sand? This is the story of one of the most remarkable transformations in modern engineering. How the raw, ordinary grains of quartz beneath our feet become the brains of our most sophisticated machines. The journey from sand to silicon to microchip is an intricate dance of chemistry, physics, precision manufacturing, and human ingenuity. It all starts with silicon. Silicon is the second most abundant element in the Earth's crust, and it's primarily found in sand in the form of silicon dioxide, SiO2. But to build a microchip, raw sand won't do. Engineers need ultra-pure silicon, purity levels beyond 99.9999%. That's not just clean, it's pristine. A single impurity at the atomic level could render a chip useless. To extract pure silicon, the journey begins in industrial furnaces, where quartz is heated with carbon at temperatures exceeding 2,000 degrees Celsius. This process strips away the oxygen, leaving behind metallurgical-grade silicon. Still, it's not pure enough for microchips, so the next step is to refine it even further using the Siemens process. Here, the silicon is reacted with hydrogen and hydrochloric acid gases, then decomposed to form electronic-grade polycrystalline silicon, now almost entirely free of contaminants. But polycrystalline silicon isn't suitable for making chips yet. Microchips require a single crystal of silicon, a perfect, unbroken lattice of atoms. To achieve this, scientists use the Czochralski process. A tiny seed crystal is dipped into molten silicon and slowly pulled upward while rotating. As it lifts, it drags silicon atoms into perfect alignment, growing a long cylindrical ingot of monocrystalline silicon, often over 200 millimeters in diameter and weighing over 100 kilograms. Once the ingot is complete, it's sliced into paper-thin silicon wafers using diamond-tipped saws. These wafers are then polished until they're as smooth as a mirror. At this stage, they look like shiny dinner plates, but these aren't dinnerware. These are the blank canvases for the most complex circuits ever designed. Now comes the magic, turning a polished wafer into a working microchip. This process, called photolithography, is one of the most sophisticated in human manufacturing. It's like printing a tiny city, complete with roads, buildings, and electricity, but all on a surface thinner than a strand of hair. The first step is to coat the wafer in a light-sensitive material called photoresist. Then ultraviolet light is shined through a photomask, a kind of stencil, onto the wafer. The areas exposed to light undergo a chemical change, allowing engineers to develop the pattern and wash away specific regions, leaving behind a design etched in resist. But we're not done with just one layer. Microchips are built in multiple layers, sometimes more than 100, each with transistors, wires, and logic gates stacked and connected in 3D. For each layer, the process is repeated: coat, expose, develop, etch, and deposit new materials. It's meticulous, repetitive, and must be executed with atomic-level precision. To etch the intricate circuits into silicon, engineers use plasma etching, a process that blasts away unwanted material using ionized gas. Next, to build transistors, the fundamental building blocks of logic, ions are implanted into the silicon to change its electrical properties. This is called ion implantation, and it's like injecting dopants into the wafer to sculpt its electrical behavior. Once the basic circuits are in place, layers of metal, often copper or aluminum, are deposited to form the interconnects. These are the microscopic highways that shuttle electrons between billions of transistors. The layering is so dense that a modern chip may contain wiring thinner than a virus, and transistors smaller than a red blood cell. To align every layer to the last, engineers rely on extreme ultraviolet lithography, EUV. This advanced technique allows patterns to be etched with beams of light at incredibly short wavelengths, enabling features as small as 5 nanometers. That's about the width of 25 atoms. Once all the layers are built up and the chip is complete, it's still not ready for your device. The wafer is diced into individual dies, tiny rectangular chips, and then tested for performance. The good ones are packaged, sealed inside protective shells with wire connections, heat spreaders, and contacts. These final products are what we recognize as processors, memory chips, and logic units. From here, The chips are shipped to device manufacturers who embed them in smartphones, laptops, satellites, and more. A chip that began as sand may now be at the heart of a space probe, a medical device, or the smartphone in your hand. But perhaps what's most remarkable about this entire process isn't just the transformation from sand to silicon, it's the sheer density of intelligence packed into something so small. A modern chip like Apple's M series or NVIDIA's AI processors contains tens of billions of transistors, each switching on and off billions of times per second. And all of this happens at a global scale. The raw materials might come from Australia, refined in the US, crystallized in Japan, fabricated in Taiwan, packaged in Malaysia, and assembled into a phone in China, before being shipped to your home. The chip in your pocket is the product of a planet-wide supply chain and decades of scientific progress. As we look forward, chips will continue shrinking, getting faster, and becoming more power efficient. New materials like graphene and 2D semiconductors are on the horizon. Quantum computing threatens to redefine what a chip even is. But at the heart of it all, the journey still begins with a grain of sand and the relentless drive to turn nature's raw elements into tools of thought. So the next time you open your laptop, take a photo, or send a text, remember, you're not just using a machine. You're holding the end product of a process that started millions of years ago in the Earth's crust and traveled through one of the most advanced technological pipelines humanity has ever built. And if you found this story fascinating, there's plenty more where that came from. Be sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with someone who's ever wondered how the invisible world of microchips came to be. From sand to silicon, from raw earth to digital power, this is how we shape the future, one atom at a time.